D-Gens, what's going on, guys? What is going on? Good day, good day. Let's see what's going on. Let's get into some charts. All right. What do we have? We're on the hourly. Let's go over to the 4-hour on JASMY. Let's zoom this mofo in. So we've fallen out of our symmetrical triangle here. Unless we kind of readjust this mofo to a broader stance on the 4-hour. We have our 3 touches on the top. We only have our 2 touches on the bottom right now. Let's get into the chat before we get going here. Kev, what's up, buddy? Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Nice. Guys, as always, on your way in, make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow, guys. It's the holiday season. Give us a like. Would be within the Christmas spirit, right? It doesn't cost you anything, so help us grow. William, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you as always. Big Kev's in the house. I'm ready to for a push over that 5 cent for JASMY. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I've been looking at charts all morning, and I've been looking at some metrics, man. And I don't know. Right now, it just kind of looks like Bitcoin is sucking the air out of the room again. But the good news is, last time Bitcoin did this, about a month and a half ago, shortly after that, the altcoins went on their next leg up. So what I would say is that while Bitcoin is sucking the air out of the room right now and climbing to the upside, with Bitcoin dominance climbing, which we will get into, altcoins are kind of bleeding against it right now, but they will make their next leg up, melting up even further shortly after Bitcoin finds its next level of consolidation. We'll get into that in a few minutes, though. Angelo, what's up, man? JASMY for a few days now. I think this is good. Absolutely, man. If JASMY ends the year under 10 cents, I'll be disappointed. Hey, man. You should never be disappointed, right? Here's the thing, guys. The timeline for me has not changed. Regardless of what the price is right now and next week, my price target for when I'm leaving the market, the date, like the month I'm leaving and stuff, hasn't changed. So big picture, listen, the reason I don't care whether JASMY's 10 cents by the end of the month or not is because even if it was, I'm not selling it at the end of the month anyway. So I don't really care, right? I'm not selling it until next year. So yeah. Shane, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Aaron, how you doing, Aaron? Good to see you here again, my friend. Good morning, JASMY people. Yes, Shane, we are still on for the one-on-one immediately after the stream ends. So look in your inbox as soon as the stream ends, because I'll likely be asking you a couple minutes later if you're ready to go. Boomer, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Colton, is XCN a US-based company? No, it is not. The future is now. What's good, Rob? Jetpack's in the house. Madness. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Oh, yeah. Good evening, my friend. Little macho man for you. Singapore, I believe. Correct. How do you think Swift coin will dip? I think Swift has probably come pretty close to bottoming, to be honest with you. I mean, it really depends because pretty much all of the altcoins are continuing to bleed against Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is sucking all the air out of the room again, which is fine, which is normal, right? But I think Swift, I feel like Swift is pretty close to bottom. I don't think we'll fall too much further. I think the furthest we'll fall, maybe 207. But I mean, that would be extreme in my opinion. So I mean, hopefully we don't fall any lower than that. But that's where I see us catching if we do. Bruno, what's up, buddy? Shane says, Jack, we won't know until he puts the magical purple box up. Nice. Sam, hail the king of the north. The king of the north. Rob Snow. You can start calling me Rob Snow. Little Game of Thrones reference there, right? I'll say this: the market may be red today, but it's giving me a little time to expand my turbo play, and I'm also I got a big turbo Guys, I have actually a big turbo announcement for you guys today. Turbo update. They made a big announcement today, and I got it for you. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. Colton, thinking about scheduling a one-on-one between debating, consolidating my entire portfolio. Just shoot me a DM over on the Patreon, brother, and we'll get you going. WF Capital, where have you been, man? Where have you been? I'm out around May, June. Angelo, Bitcoin dominance is still high. Yes, it is. Yes, it is climbing. Going to take my chances holding JASMY till the next run, 1 million coins. Let's freaking go, baby. Dumb money's in the house. Positive way to look at it, Rob. Next year. Exactly. Yeah. That was our plan all along. Our plan all along has been, you know, if you're over on the Patreon, you know exactly when we're leaving the market. So looking at what's happening right now, you know, you're very well aware that it doesn't affect where we're leaving the market right now, right? Mohammed, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Maya. All right, let's get into some charting. Let's get into some stuff here. So JASMY sitting inside this symmetrical triangle, still waiting for a break to the upside, guys. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping we ping pong inside of here. We have on the 4-hour fallen below the 100-day SMA, and we're getting close to having a death cross forming here on the 100-day crossing over the 30-day SMA. So hopefully that doesn't play out. But on the larger time frames, what do we have? We have the golden cross getting ready to form on the daily time frame. So we'll see what happens there. We're still inside the symmetrical triangle on the daily time frame. Things are looking okay. You know, I don't mind us bleeding the way we are against Bitcoin right now. But as long as we stay, you know, inside of our structure here, I would be fine with that. If JASMY falls further, we'll probably fall back down to this 4 cent zero level again to retest it. It acted as a significant level here. It was resistance twice, then it was support. Then it was resistance, then it was support 3 days in a row here. So it could act as a level of support if we fall down that much further. But nothing's guaranteed, obviously, right? But yeah, as you can see over on Bitcoin, guys, it's sucking the air out of the room again, sitting at $106,599. This morning it got as high as $108,454. So another new all-time high last night / early this morning. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's going to continue to do its thing. If we go over and look at the Bitcoin dominance, let's pull up the Bitcoin dominance. See, Bitcoin dominance is continuing to pull to the upside here. It's back up at 57.78. So, and like, I wouldn't be surprised to see this come in and set another new all-time high, a new high. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, guys. Here's the thing. We get a little bit greedy. A lot of people, I know there was a lot of content creators and a lot of people swearing it was altcoin season. Even I started to believe it was altcoin season because a lot of the metrics were starting to show it, right? But I think that was a false altcoin season or a mini altcoin season, whatever you want to call it, right? Because now we're seeing the reversal here. And because, listen, before that, I had anticipated Bitcoin pumping until probably middle of January before altcoin season started to kick in, right? So our timelines are exactly where we always thought that they would be, right? People just got a little anxious because they thought, you know, things were about to moonshot. And, you know, we just waited out. We just continue to wait the same way we were going to wait in the first place, right? Ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string, guys. Let's go have a look over at our alts as they bleed against Bitcoin. Boom. Just some DCA opportunities, you know. I might actually, you know, I've been saying for a while, especially over on the Patreon, I might start to DCA again. I stopped DCAing a while ago. I might start to DCA and top some of my bags up some more since we have the opportunity in front of us, right? because these opportunities are not going to last much longer, guys. They're not. Crow's pumping pretty good today, though. But yeah, so either take advantage. I mean, look at even XRP is barely pumping. It's only up 5.7%, and they just had the launch of their stablecoin today, right? The RLUSD, and nothing, right? Just an average little pump. So we wait and we wait and we wait. All right, what do we got? Check this out. Let's get into some of the news. European MP says Donald Trump will create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What is the EU doing?
3 years ago, across the Atlantic, the president of El Salvador decided to invest in Bitcoins for his country. At the time, he was ridiculed by the political class and the IMF. He now shows a 100% return, with hundreds of millions of dollars available for his people, for security, and for the sovereignty of his country. The whole world is now getting ready to take advantage of this revolution in decentralized finance. Donald Trump is going to create a strategic reserve of Bitcoin for the United States. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the US Federal Reserve, is now talking about digital gold. Bitcoin is skyrocketing. And what about the European Union? What is the European Union doing? It's squandering our money on unbelievable waste. It continues to accumulate tragically inflationary deficits. It insists on regulating, taxing, and holding back. It's time to change the paradigm. It's time to protect our people from inflation and the poor economic choices of our states. It's time to say no to the totalitarian temptations of the European Central Bank, which wants to impose a fully controlled digital euro. We don't want this dystopian world where a European bureaucrat could tomorrow ban us from certain transactions and even kick us out of the banking system with a click, just for something we said on social media or for an opinion that doesn't sit well. It's time to bet on freedom. It's time for our states to invest in Bitcoin to build national strategic reserves. It's time to develop the mining industry. We, the French, hold the cards with our nuclear advantage. Let's stop taxing cryptocurrency holders more and more. It's their intelligence, their risks, their sleepless nights that have built their savings. Let's allow them to protect themselves from the crazy spiral you've created. Public deficit that drives money creation, which creates inflation, leading to chaos. Let's dare to be free. Let's stop being afraid of our own shadow. Let's stay true to the ambition of our civilization. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. French need to stop while they're ahead. Guys, fantastic news. As this little turd burglar here, anti-Bitcoin SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw will not be renominated to her position after Senate Banking Committee cancels vote for Fox Business Eleanor Tourette. She is out of here, guys. She is worse than Gary Gensler from reports. She voted against the spot Bitcoin ETF. She voted against every single vote that happened in a derogatory sense to crypto. She voted in favor of. She's as anti-crypto as they come. She is a commissioner at the SEC. Her and Gary are both out of here, man. That's what you want to see. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the arse on the way out the door. All right, what else do we got? We got some bullish turbo news, guys. Check it out. Did I nail it or did I nail it, guys? This is hilarious. Someone asked me yesterday in the live stream, you can go back and check in the morning live stream, what I thought the news was going to be, this announcement from Turbo. And as it turns out, boom, turboswap.org. They are coming out with their own swap/DEX, decentralized exchange on Near protocol. So there you go, guys. Absolutely nailed that one. But big news for Turbo. Fantastic. Turbo coming out with its own DEX. New era in DeFi. Speed and security over on Near's network. The blockchain for AI. Bullish. Very, very bullish. All right. What else do we have? All right. So how easy is it to run a validator node on your blockchain? You can check it out here. You've got multiple options: Algorand, Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Avalanche, Sui, Polkadot, Near, and Multiverse X. Most just require a 4 CPU core, 32 gigabyte RAM. Actually, Algorand only requires an 8 gigabyte RAM. That's crazy. So Algorand is the easiest one to operate a node on out of Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Avalanche, Sui, Polkadot, Near, and Multiverse X. Algorand is the easiest, guys. Now I am working on creating a video exclusively for the Patreon on how to operate your nodes on Algorand. Also, we will be doing one exclusively over there for how to operate nodes for JASMY and for how to operate them for Onyx Coin. So definitely you're going to want to be over on the Patreon, guys. Bitcoin now sees a safe haven investment price turbocharge incoming.
Look, Bitcoin has this duality. It has, on the one hand, the technology component of it, right? And it being seen at times as a proxy for tech stocks. And people did go ahead and correlate it with the NASDAQ. On the other hand, to your point, it is a safe haven investment as well. It is digital gold by many. And so until now, we've either seen one of those two narratives go ahead and propel Bitcoin higher. And at times during, quote, crypto winters that we've seen where crypto fell off the map, people pronounced Bitcoin dead and so forth, both of those narratives were used against Bitcoin. We now may have both of those narratives converging to the upside, to the positive at once. And that may turbocharge, and that's why I don't think a price target of 1.5 times where we are, 2.5 times where we are today is a big stretch, because Bitcoin has succeeded under such a challenging regime here in the United States. Now that it's going to go ahead and get a friendly regime support, I think the sky is the limit.
All right. I agree. What do we have going on for Myria, guys? Everyone keeps asking me for Myria videos. You guys don't watch them, so that's why I throw the Myria updates into the live streams. Myria, the Web3 gaming platform, let's play MetaRush. So they have a new tournament going on for MetaRush, guys. Win USDT Tether, Rift League winners, 1 round, 2 round trial winner, random audience. You can get more information over on their Discord. So I love that Myria is always hosting tournaments and stuff for the games on their platform. Bullish. According to Trader Main, while talking with not the red guy, we're nowhere near the top.
We're still so bullish. Like, it's awesome. It's insane. I think there's nothing to worry about from a macro high time frame perspective yet. I think the fact that we had this like shakeout last week here. So if you remember, like,
that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, like that was like the first shakeout we've had in God knows how long, right? Like, and the fact that people were so quick to like revert to like being scared and bearish and being like, oh, maybe the top is in, is like super bullish in my opinion, if that makes sense. Because when the top is in, people will think that we're never going to be able to go down again. And there's still people who, like, on any sort of correction are like, oh, maybe that was it. So that's a good sign for our bags, like that we have more to go, in my opinion, higher to go.
Nowhere near the top. Nowhere near the top. All right, so everyone keeps asking me, for some reason, there's a lot of interest in the RLUSD. They did launch today. It says Ripple stablecoin RLUSD now available on Ethereum and the XRP ledger. Ripple has officially launched its stablecoin RLUSD for short. A great step in the decentralized finance ecosystem. Ripple stablecoin RLUSD is designed to operate on both Ethereum network and the XRP ledger. It targets seamless interaction by users across different platforms. Though earlier in the open market, RLUSD was susceptible to decentralized exchange price volatilities, which rose and fell as high as 20% in either direction. It has since then stabilized around $1 pegged to the US dollar, data from XP Market indicates. Ripple aims to further assure users about the RLUSD stability and by having an independent audit confirming, an auditing firm to assure users, and that's a monthly thing. So, like, unlike Tether that refuses to get an audit at all, Ripple's going to be getting a monthly audit to prove that they're backed one-to-one on their stablecoin. With the launch of RLUSD, Ripple's trying to take a share of the hot stablecoin market, currently dominated by Tether, 140 billion. That's going to change quick, guys, between Circle's USDC and RLUSD, because, I mean, Tether's been kicked out of Europe now. They're kicked out of Canada as of the 31st of this month. So they're going to lose a lot of that market share to Circle and Ripple's RLUSD. Ripple's also added 2 former central bankers to its stablecoin advisory board, aiming to strengthen the coin's rollout and ensure compliance. The stablecoin is listed on initial exchanges, including Uphold, MoonPay, and Archax Coin. I'm sure you'll see it soon enough on Binance and Kraken and over on Coinbase and stuff like that, crypto.com soon enough. They'll start to slowly weed Tether out and add Ripple's RLUSD. I think that see, it says here Ripple stablecoin RLUSD is available in the Americans and Asian Pacific, the UK and Middle East. However, its launch remained pending in the European Union due to some regulatory hurdles regarding the MiCA regulations. So they're trying to work with MiCA to take over as Tether gets kicked out at the same time. So very interesting there. Very, very interesting. We'll see how that plays out. But bullish for Ripple nonetheless. Former Kansas City Fed Pres Esther George, I would not cut rates this week.
Two-day meeting kicking off today with a rate cut expected. Joining us right now, former Kansas City Fed President Esther George. Esther, it's great to see you. You've probably been hopefully listening to so much of the conversation, reading so many of the various articles opining on what Jay Powell should do. And it appears that there's this fear now that maybe inflation has not been dealt with and that maybe cutting rates right now is not the right move. What's your thought?
Yeah, well, good morning. I do think this is a time to be very cautious as you read the data. The committee, I think, has taken confidence in the fact that inflation has come down significantly. But of course, they're very clear about what their target is. And as we're watching inflation data come in, we're seeing that it's not continuing to decelerate in the same manner that it had earlier. So that, I think, is a reason to be cautious and to really think about how much of this easing of policy is required to keep the economy on track.
So if you were in the meeting, you would say no cut?
I think I'd be inclined to say no cut. Let's wait and see how the data comes in. Again, you know, Andrew, 25 basis points usually doesn't make or break where we are. But I do think it is a time to signal to markets and to the public that they have not taken their eye off the ball of inflation.
So I think, you know, all of the sort of signaling that's gone on even in the last couple of weeks has been around this idea that there would be a cut. And maybe then there'd be a pause, maybe even a lengthy pause. Does that strategy still make sense to you? Or I mean, if that were the case, if we woke up in the morning tomorrow afternoon and we heard, okay, they're cutting 25 basis points, but they then through language say, you know what, we think we're going to be paused for a long time after that because we know we haven't fully dealt with inflation. We're going to watch that. And we're also going to watch, you know, what.
That's what I think is going to happen, guys. They're going to cut this rate tomorrow. And then they're going to, Jay Powell's going to imply that there's not going to be another rate cut for probably at least for the first quarter of next year, right? So then the market's going to have to price that in.
The new incoming administration does. Would that temper things?
Well, I think that will be very important, of course. So I do expect that we will get a 25 basis point cut based on the communications we've heard so far. But remember, at this meeting is an important communication coming out, which are the dot plots, the summary of economic projections, which will give us clues about how the committee at large is thinking about the path ahead. So I do expect that we will see in there some adjustments in their inflation path. I think we'll see some adjustments in the Fed funds rate path to show that it will be a slower, more gradual downward move over the next year or so. And, whether that is a pause, a skip, an extended period of leaving rates where they are, we'll watch for the communication coming out of the press conference tomorrow to get a better sense of that.
Esther, as they're putting that dot plot together, and this goes to the question of, how do you predict what's going to happen under this new administration? How you think about tariffs, how you think about tax policy, how you think about all of these things that are going to converge in the year 2025 that may actually have a genuine economic impact, how the Fed should or shouldn't think about that as it tries to project forward.
Yeah, so I think the way I look at this right now, Andrew, is you have inflation running well above that 2% target, and it's shown to be sticky right now. Regardless of how precise one could be about potential policies coming forward in 2025, I think all of them so far suggest a caution light around this, whether it's tariffs, whether it's taxes, whether it's a fiscal policy and deficits in general. The reading I get is if you're a risk manager at this point, if you're thinking about what lies ahead and you've yet to achieve your 2% target, you will move carefully to make sure that you're not ceding the credibility that you want in terms of low and stable inflation. So I think it's a time to just be careful.
A lot of people think we're going to see reflation next year, guys. I honestly think it won't happen next year. I think it will happen the year after. 2026, when everything starts to go back into a bear market, I think that's when we're going to get hit hard with reflation. I think that things are going to flare up. People think of recession, things like that. Bullish news for Mainnetz, guys. You guys know Mainnetz, one of my flyer picks for the bull run here, a layer 1 project coming over to base. Bullish news, guys. Seamless integration in wrapped nets acts as a bridge between nets and base, facilitating smooth transactions and interactions. Guys, base is the hot place you want to hang out right now if you are a project. This is very bullish news for nets. Very bullish. Very, very bullish. I like to see it. Beebs, this one's for you, buddy. This one's for you. KASPA now listed on Bitcoin Try. I don't know what the exchange is, but it is a new it's a Web3 hybrid exchange. Trading pairs are active, USDT pair. So bullish new listing for KASPA. We love KASPA on this channel, guys, as you guys are well aware. Bitcoin's price may see a harsh reversal after Fed decision tomorrow. Bitcoin's price rallied to a record high of $108,000 on December 17th, continuing a bull run that began in 2023. Bitcoin has surged by nearly 150% this year, driven by rising demand and decreasing supply growth. The unwinding of high interest rates by the Federal Reserve and other central banks has also contributed to this upward momentum. Data from So Value shows a spot Bitcoin ETFs have accumulated over $36 billion in assets, bridging their combined total to more than $120 billion. This growth indicates that Bitcoin is increasingly competing with gold for investor attention. Bitcoin supply growth has not been strong as mining difficulty has jumped. Data from CoinGlass shows that the amount of Bitcoin remaining on exchanges has continued to fall this year. You might these supply and demand dynamics will likely push Bitcoin's prices higher in the long term. This demand will likely come from the government and corporations, which have seen MicroStrategy move from a tiny company into a $90 billion firm. The next key catalyst that could have an impact on Bitcoin is the Federal Reserve's decision on Wednesday. Economists expect that the bank will cut rates by 25 basis points, bridging the year-to-date cuts to 1%. Bitcoin and other risky assets do well when the Fed is cutting rates because investors often move from low-yield money market funds. The Fed may therefore disrupt the Bitcoin price surge by having a hawkish tone because of the sticky inflation. Its main concern is that Donald Trump's policies of deportation, tax cuts, and tariffs will stir inflation. Data released last week showed that inflation is still a big challenge as the headline consumer price index rose to 2.7%. Core CPI, which excludes the volatile food and energy price, remained at 2.2%. As such, while the Fed will likely cut rates this week, it might deliver a hawkish outlook, which is exactly what I've been saying, guys. We're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut, and then he's going to come out and say, we're pausing for a long time now. So the market's going to have to price that in, okay? The daily chart shows that BTC has maintained a strong bullish trend over the past few weeks. The price remains above all major moving averages, signaling that bulls are still in control. Additionally, BTC has formed a cup and handle pattern pointing to more gains. However, the chart also reveals a rising wedge pattern, common reversal signal. The MACD and relative strength index are both forming bearish divergence patterns. As a result, there is a possibility of a brief pullback, potentially to 103,000 following the Federal Reserve's interest rate cuts. I was actually talking to the Patreon last night. We did a live video call. We do them every night. And I said a pullback to $101,000 would actually be perfectly healthy and normal to retest that level. So in saying that, guys, do not be surprised to see that. If you guys want to get all of the insights that you need and that you want, you got to get over to the Patreon, guys. You're missing out on so much. We do these group video calls every night. Missing a lot of alpha, man. A lot of important alpha. Altcoin Daily tweets out, Eric Balchinian says, we expect a wave of cryptocurrency ETFs next year, albeit not all at once, but first out is likely the BTC ETH combo ETF, then probably Litecoin. I really don't think we'll see I don't know, maybe Litecoin, yeah. HBAR, XRP, Solana. So he figures, Eric Balchinian figures we're going to see a rash of altcoin ETFs approved next year when we get our new head of the SEC in. So that's very, very bullish, guys. We're just getting started, baby, in this bull run. We're just getting started. What else do we have? Check this out, guys. Look what happened. Brutal. Bitcoin wiped out shorts and then went after the longs. See, guys, I keep saying this is market manipulation. Look what happened. The price rose, liquidating all right here, all this yellow. That's all people who were shorting, right? They all got liquidated. Took all that money. And then what happened? Market makers, they manipulated the market, came down, and boom, liquidated all these longs. All these longs got liquidated, right? That's why I don't mess with leverage trading. That's why I don't shill it to you guys like other content creators, because this is what happens. This is not a fair market, guys. Do not be confused about this. This is market manipulation to liquidate people, right? So why mess with it? That's what I don't understand. Why mess with it? You're not playing. You're not playing in a game where the rules are rigged against you when it comes to this. You put in a short with a bunch of other people. Guess what? Market makers are going to manipulate the price. You're going to get liquidated. You put in a long down here. Guess what? They're going to come down there. They're going to liquidate you and then come back up. Right? Don't mess with leverage, guys. Don't mess with leverage. I mean, you do you, boo boo. I can't give you financial advice, but I'm just showing you this is what happens, right? Okay, what else do we have? Let's get into another article first here. Bitcoin, the tide is also turning in Europe. The United States has chosen its side, and Sarah Nafo has taken it upon herself to make this understood in the European Parliament, which is what we watched at the beginning of the stream. The European MP did not mince her words, calling for the end of technocratic crusade against Bitcoin. Okay. Sarah calls for Europeans to for the immediate. What she calls for Europeans to imitate. Sorry, I was reading wrong. Imitate. Sorry, imitate the United States, creating a Bitcoin reserve asset fund. Right? She says this is not a time to protect against inflation as well as poor economic choices. This is time for our states to establish national strategic reserves for Bitcoin. So she wants Europe to do the same thing, guys. It's funny because like everyone's doing this. I showed you Hong Kong and Russia, China are doing it. Russia's doing it. The United States is doing it. Poland's doing it. All of these countries are putting Bitcoin up as a strategic reserve asset, guys. If you do not see which way the wind is blowing by now, you're just never going to. You're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. All right. What else do we have? Simply Bitcoin. Fiat turns savings into gambling. Bitcoin restores the ability to save and secure for your future.
Investment is a job in itself. To figure out what to do with your money in order to beat inflation is something that, there are professionals out there on Wall Street that have PhDs in finance, that have enormous computers, and they have enormous staffs of PhDs and master's degrees and math nerds that are crunching numbers and figuring out how to allocate your portfolio so that you can beat inflation. And guess what? The majority of them don't beat inflation. The majority of them can't beat inflation, not as measured by CPI, which is completely fraudulent. But if you remember,
14%.
Yeah, that 14%. Or even, the 7%, like if you look at just the increase in the money supply, which I think is a much better metric. And this is what's reflected on the desirable goods. Like if you look at the price of real estate in Miami Beach, as Michael Saylor mentioned in your example, it goes up at around 6-7% per year on average over the last century. So that's, if you want to live in a nice area, that's what's happening to real estate. If you want to go to the good universities, that's what's going up. It's CPI. But CPI is designed so you can beat it, but you can't really beat the appreciation in the things that you actually want to buy, the price of good food, the price of good real estate. So, most investment professionals fail at doing that. So what hope does a doctor or an engineer or a scientist or an athlete have in doing those things?
So investment is hard and saving should be easy.
Exactly. Saving is essential for us as a civilization. And what Fiat did is it took that away from us, and then it forced everybody to become an investor, or more accurately, a gambler, because you're not just because the money itself is broken, because the money itself is constantly changing in value. Investing is becoming more of a crapshoot. I mean, value investing is completely underperforming compared to market analysis. You listen to the Fed, and what matters to the price of individual companies is monetary policy much more than it is their own performance. So basically, you need to be a junkie watching the Fed and following all of the world's central banks, and you need to learn macroeconomics, and you need to learn what all the central banks are doing, and you need to understand how commodity markets work, and you need to understand how equity markets work, and bond markets, and real estate markets. You need to do all of those things just in order to be able to save and earn and keep the money that you've already earned.
Yeah.
That's the criminal thing about it. Like, I've already earned that money being a doctor, being a dentist, being an athlete, being an engineer. I built a house for somebody, and I got that money. And all I want to do is just make sure that I can have it 10 years from now. The only way to do so is to become a crappy engineer, because you have to spend half your time not doing engineering and instead spend half of that time learning about Japanese central bank monetary policy and commodity markets, and what's going to happen to copper, and what's going to happen to oil, and what's happening in the wars, and what's happening with foreign policy, and Russia and the US, and all of those things. Under the gold standard, you didn't care about any of that stuff. Your gold coin worked regardless of all of those things. So what this means is the future. So first of all, we have all of the problems I mentioned, but also it means that the future becomes much more uncertain. So you're far less likely to provide for yourself 10 years from now, far less likely to find an easy way to give yourself value 10 years from now. And so you become more short-termist. And that is reflected economically in a lower savings rate, and we see savings rates decline. But it is also reflected in all manners of decision-making. And I think if you really want to see what it is, take a look at a society that goes through hyperinflation and look at what happens there. You know, how do people change under hyperinflation, and compare that to essentially what we see in the 20th century all over under not hyperinflation, but under low inflation. You know, 10, 15% that you see across the board most of the time is just slow motion hyperinflation. So what happens in hyperinflation? Everybody gets their paychecks, they run straight to the supermarket, they spend all of their money. Nobody thinks about savings. Nobody thinks about the future. Survival until the end of this month is highly uncertain. How likely are you to be planning for what you're going to be doing 5 years from now? Very unlikely. But also, it's reflected not just economically, it's also reflected in all aspects of morality, on all the way in which we deal with each other as human beings. When your survival is precarious, how much are you invested in the notion of being a good citizen, on caring about your reputation, on caring about not getting caught in a crime? All of these things become harder to value. So people start committing crime, people start caring less and less about the future. And we see it reflected in everything. And I argue you see it reflected in architecture. You know, we used to build houses in the 19th century that last until today. And then in the 20th century, we build essentially disposable cardboard boxes that get scrapped in 20 years.
I love that analogy. The struggle is real, guys. The struggle is most certainly real. All right, as we continue on with this whole Bill Hinman thing, the SEC Inspector General issues Hinman report on potential conflicts. We want to see this man behind bars for what he did. Years after the watchdog group raised ethics questions about the former top Securities and Exchange Commission director, the agency's Inspector General issued a report on the matter, but has yet to release it publicly. Empower Oversight, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving independent government oversight, raised questions about Bill Hinman, who served as director of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance from May 2017 until December of 2020. Empower Oversight obtained documents that it said showed Hinman may have violated federal ethics rules regarding conflicts of interest. The group's investigation resulted in a referral of evidence to the SEC's OIG in May of 2022. In February of 2024, the SEC's Office of Inspector General said it was in the final stages of an investigation, according to the correspondence the group posted. Outside groups have kept pressure on the SEC to release the Hinman report. Earlier this month, Consumer Action for a Strong Economy called on outgoing chair Gary Gensler to release the SEC's Office of the Inspector General's report on potential conflicts of interest by Hinman. A spokesperson for the SEC, OIG, told the Center Square the Hinman report has been issued to the SEC management. The Center Square filed a Freedom of Information Act request for the report on Tuesday. Hinman raised eyebrows in 2018 speech when he said, based on my understanding of the present stage of Ether, the Ethereum network is a decentralized structure. Current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. He said the same about Bitcoin, another cryptocurrency. Empower Oversight said records of other information showed that Hinman failed to disclose his direct interest in his former law firm, Simpson Thacher, by extension, his direct financial interest in the organizations co-founded by the law firm. The Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, which describes itself as an industry organization whose objective is to drive the use of enterprise Ethereum and its cryptocurrency Ether. Ether's value rose after Hinman's speech, Empower Oversight noted. Case leader Matthew Kendrick urged the SEC to release the Hinman report. The Inspector General's investigation into the former director of corporate finance is well known. It's past time to release the IG's report, he said in a statement. We are asking Chair Gensler to do the right thing, and release the IG report so the American people can know what happened leading up to the government's most consequential actions on crypto regulations. Empower Oversight said it obtained records through a Freedom of Information Act that showed the SEC's ethics office cautioned Hinman that he had a direct financial interest in the former law firm, Simpson Thacher, and thus he needed to recuse himself from any matters that would affect the firm. And the ethics office told him not to have any contact with Simpson Thacher personnel. The ethics office also gave Hinman a draft memorandum, which was to be issued under his name, that established a screening arrangement to ensure that that he complied with the obligation to recuse himself from certain matters with which he had financial interests or a personal business relationship, according to Empower Oversight. So this man was paid, if you don't know, he was paid $15 million by the Ethereum Foundation to make a speech that would say that Ethereum is not a security. And then they sued Ethereum's direct competition, XRP and Ripple, as they were walking out the door, leaving the SEC. And then he went back to work at his law firm with the Ethereum Foundation after getting paid $50 million. This man needs to be in prison. He cost American citizens, not just global people globally who invested in XRP, he cost probably hundreds of billions of dollars in losses. He needs to be behind bars. He was paid $15 million to do it. He needs to have his money scraped away from him by the government. That money needs to be seized. And I cannot wait. You know that the new chair of the SEC coming in, Atkins, is going to release this information. I'm so excited to see this new chair come into the SEC and release all kinds of information that Gary Gensler was keeping on the down low and refusing to release. This is going to be so good, so juicy. All right, let's get back up into the chat. Dumb money, positive way to look at it, Rob, next year. What do we got? Partner with XRP. You're talking about JASMY? I mean, there's a lot of speculation between about a partnership with Ripple and JASMY via their deep ties to SoftBank, right? Mo, are you from? I'm from Canada. Canada. I swear this guy at my gym looks like you. He must be huge. Mary, how you doing, dear? Good to see you. She teased us, Rob. Yes. Mr. Johnny 33 in the house. What's up, buddy? SPL says Litecoin in the house. Yo, Lily, what's going on, dear? KD3, what's up, fam? How's it going, Zen? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Amon is here. Good to see you, buddy. Greg XCN looks ready for the next big leg up. Nice. Hey, Rob, what do you think about the $100 billion investment from Japanese SoftBank? I've been looking into it a little bit. I think I touched on it a little bit yesterday. It is very, very positive. Very, very positive. It's not directly correlated with JASMY, however. Not yet, anyway. Redirected. Funny, 100K is a pullback. No kidding, eh? No kidding. Wowzers, this ride is fun. Up, down, but always in the green. Absolutely, man. Babes, what's up, buddy? I did a KASPA update for you a little bit earlier, man. Hopefully you go back and check it out. David, what's up, buddy? Hope all is well with everyone. Things are good, man. Things are good. He is huge. Nice. Lily with the super chat. Let me just see here. What do we got? Okay, so Lily says, I need a TA on how many pull-ups I can do. I'll tell you what, Lily. I will wrap my arms around your shins, and you can do 100 different pull-ups. You can do hundreds and hundreds of them, right? I got your back. Nice, nice, nice. All right, guys. So listen, that's the news. That is the chat. Make sure you're clicking like and subscribe to the channel, guys. It helps us grow. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means the whole wide world. It's Christmas season, so help the channel grow. Do your part, guys. It'd be absolutely amazing. I will be live over on the Patreon later tonight, guys. I got to do some one-on-one coaching sessions this afternoon as well. So, guys, if you want to get in on your one-on-one coaching sessions, learn how to create an exit strategy, a profit-taking plan, get over to the Patreon, guys. The link is down below. It's in the comment section. It's in the description. It's in the pinned comments. Join our group Zoom calls we do every night as well. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, guys, okay? Listen, every decision you make in your portfolio over the next couple months is going to have to be perfect. It's crucial, okay? Don't try and wing it. Don't get stuck going through this, holding on to your altcoins for the next bear market, guys. Get over to the Patreon. Let's get an exit plan built for you. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. And I will be back here tonight at 8 p.m. Central for tonight's live stream. Peace.